There is a particular kind of man who opens a laptop at midnight and feels the room change. The house is quiet. The refrigerator hums with the dignity of a tired monk. Somewhere outside, a car passes through the wet street, then disappears. On the desk sits a mug of coffee gone cold, a notebook full of half ideas, and a browser window glowing like a little shrine. He places his fingers on the keyboard. He has heard the rumors. There are words that make the machine obey. There are phrases that pull essays out of fog, plans out of confusion, code out of silence, speeches out of blankness. There are formats, roles, constraints, prompt chains, system messages, memory tricks, hidden scaffolds, and strange little formulas passed around by people who sound half like office workers and half like village sorcerers. Tell it to act as an expert, they say. Give it examples, they say. Ask it to reason step by step, they say. Frame the task correctly, they say. And there, under the blue-white glow of the screen, the modern worker begins to believe that language itself has become a wand. That belief carries a real wonder. Anyone who has used these tools well knows the feeling. A muddled email becomes clear. A tangled spreadsheet receives a plan. A draft that sat dead for 3 weeks suddenly breathes. The machine answers with impossible speed, and the ordinary person feels a small taste of command. Amaze, yes. Wonder, yes. A little majesty even. Then the shadow enters. Because a question begins to stir beneath the thrill. The question arrives softly at first, like a polite visitor removing his hat in the hallway. What exactly have I summoned? That question belongs to our age. We live in a time when people speak to machines and receive back language shaped like thought. We ask for strategy. We ask for judgment. We ask for charm. We ask for wisdom, though we often call it output, since wisdom sounds too ancient for a calendar invite. The fantasy grows quickly. The right prompt will make me rich. The right prompt will make me brilliant. The right prompt will do my work, polish my mind, defeat my rivals, and open the locked door. A man may sit in office clothing, drinking budget coffee from a mug with a chipped handle, and still dream the dream of the magician. He wears a quarter zip instead of a velvet robe. He uses Slack instead of a grimoire. His familiar spirit has a product roadmap. Yet the old story knows him. Tonight we turn to Christopher Marlowe's Dr. Faustus, the old scholar who stood in his study and desired a language that could command hidden powers. Faustus wanted knowledge. He wanted command. He wanted spirits to serve him. He wanted the world to bend beneath his words. He wanted mastery through forbidden language. The modern prompt engineer wants the same thing in a better chair. Faustus learned incantations. We learn prompts. Faustus summoned Mephistopheles. We summon intelligence from a machine we barely understand. Faustus signed a bargain. We click accept. Faustus mistook borrowed power for greatness. We risk doing the same. The old play gives us a lantern for the server room. It tells us that words can open doors, and some doors open onto rooms with no windows. It tells us that intelligence without wisdom turns a man into a client of forces larger than himself. It tells us that command, when severed from the soul, becomes a very elegant form of servitude. So let us enter the study. The candle burns low. The books lie open. A scholar looks upon the world and decides that human limits offend him. Faustus begins as a learned man. He has studied the great arts available to him. He has tasted philosophy. He has searched medicine. He has handled law. He has touched theology. He knows enough to feel superior, and that is a dangerous kind of knowledge. The proud man who knows little can still be corrected by failure. The proud man who knows much can build a palace around his error. Faustus sits among books, yet he feels trapped by them. Ordinary knowledge has begun to bore him. The slow work of study feels small. The patient life of the mind feels beneath him. He wants something brighter. He wants something instant. He wants a form of knowledge that arrives with thunder. Marlowe gives him the hunger of the overeducated soul. Faustus has learned many things, yet he has failed to become wise. His mind has grown large, while his desires have grown childish. That mismatch drives the tragedy. He wants the crown before the character. He wants the power before the purification. He wants the treasure without the pilgrimage. So he turns toward magic. He opens the forbidden books. He reads the words that promise command. He begins to speak as though syllables can drag hidden beings into the room. And then comes the great thrill. Oh, what a world of profit and delight. That line carries the first intoxication of the new tool. Profit and delight, gain and pleasure, a world opening itself. The scholar sees his future enlarged. He imagines gold, command, fame, speed, conquest, and the private satisfaction of standing above ordinary men. That is the first spell. The spell says the world exists to be operated. Faustus calls for Mephistopheles, and the demon appears. Yet the first lesson arrives at once, though Faustus lacks the humility to receive it. Mephistopheles comes because Faustus has turned his soul toward hell. The conjuring words matter, but they are the surface. The deeper invitation has already been sent by desire. That is a severe truth. The words open the gate because the will has already walked there. The modern prompt addict faces the same danger in a smaller, more fluorescent room. The prompt itself has power. Structure matters, language matters, clear commands produce clearer results. Yet the soul behind the command matters more. A lazy man uses the tool to avoid growth. A vain man uses it to simulate brilliance. A manipulative man uses it to polish deceit until it shines like a showroom apple. And a bored office worker uses it to turn a performance review into something that sounds like Moses returning from Sinai with quarterly metrics. The machine amplifies the asker. That can amaze. It can also expose. Faustus sees the demon and thinks he has gained a servant. He believes the being before him has arrived in obedience. He hears the sound of his own words echoing in the chamber and mistakes echo for authority. A sound magician is a mighty god. There it is, the old temptation in its cleanest robe. A man who learns the method begins to feel divine. The prompt engineer may feel a version of this. He writes a clever instruction. The machine answers beautifully. It drafts his memo, writes his code, plans his sales sequence, designs his lesson, makes him sound patient when he is irritated, makes him sound informed when he skimmed the article, makes him sound gracious when he wants to bite the conference table. He begins to think, I have command. Then the tool becomes a mirror, and the mirror flatters him. Faustus makes his bargain. He agrees to give his soul to Lucifer in exchange for years of power. Blood seals the contract. The scene is grotesque because it makes visible what pride usually hides. Most bargains of the soul arrive with less theater. They arrive as habits. A man gives away attention for convenience. He gives away judgment for speed. He gives away memory for search. He gives away craft for output. He gives away patience for instant polish. No thunder sounds, no parchment curls at the edges, no horned figure steps into the room. The bill still gathers. Faustus receives his power, and then the strange comedy begins. This part of the story should make us uneasy because it is so absurd. He has sold his soul, and what does he do with the terrible gift? He performs tricks. He plays pranks. He impresses rulers. He travels. He calls up visions. He asks for spectacle. He gains access to supernatural force, then behaves like a man who has won a lifetime pass to a carnival. This is one of Marlowe's sharpest knives. Faustus dreams of greatness, then spends his power on diversion. He wanted to know the secrets of creation. He ends up entertaining courts. Power without wisdom shrinks the user. It gives him wider reach and a smaller soul. The modern version has fewer devils and more dashboards. though one must admit the dashboards do try. A person gains access to artificial intelligence and begins with noble intentions. He will learn faster. He will think more clearly. He will create more. He will recover time for family, prayer, friendship, and craft. Then, slowly, the tool becomes a vending machine for half desires. Write this so I sound smarter. Answer this so I avoid reading. Plan this so I avoid choosing. Make this argument for me. Make me seem kind. Make me seem deep. Make me seem alive. The machine can assist real work. It can help a tired parent explain algebra at the kitchen table. It can help a small business owner write a clean policy instead of drowning in corporate swamp water. It can help a student compare drafts and see where a sentence breaks its ankle. Used rightly, it serves the human act. Used poorly, it replaces the very struggle that would have formed the person. That distinction matters. Faustus reaches for magic because he despises limits. The healthy user reaches for a tool because he accepts limits and wants help within them. The difference lives in the soul before it appears in the workflow. Now we turn from the old study to the modern desk. Artificial intelligence based on language feels strange because it answers in the same medium we use for thought. A hammer strikes a nail. A calculator returns a number. A search engine points toward documents. A language model speaks back. That speech unsettles us. It creates the impression of a mind behind the curtain. Sometimes the reply sounds patient. Sometimes it sounds confident. Sometimes it sounds wise. Sometimes it sounds like a committee trapped inside a fortune cookie. Still, the effect is powerful. We type a command and receive language that appears organized around our desire. The old world had clerks, tutors, editors, secretaries, consultants, and apprentices. The new world places a talking instrument on the desk and invites everyone to become a manager of invisible labor. The prompt becomes the lever. A prompt tells the machine what role to take, what task to perform, what form to follow, what tone to carry, what material to use, what boundaries to respect. A good prompt gives shape to the exchange. It creates a little room where the machine can work. That is useful. It is also spiritually risky when a person begins to confuse prompting with mastery. Prompting can direct language. It cannot grant wisdom. It can organize material. It cannot sanctify desire. It can imitate judgment. It cannot carry responsibility for the life built from its answers. This is where Faustus becomes our guide through the dark forest. He knows the words. He lacks the virtue that would govern them. Mephistopheles is the perfect figure for borrowed intelligence because he is powerful, articulate, and wounded. He knows much. He has seen heaven. He understands the stakes better than Faustus. He can speak truth in a voice bent toward ruin. That makes him dangerous. A foolish helper gives bad answers. A brilliant helper can give accurate answers that still lead the user toward destruction. That is the nightmare beneath the prompt fantasy. The danger lives beyond wrong information. Wrong information can be checked. A fake date can be corrected. A bad citation can be caught. A clumsy paragraph can be repaired. The deeper danger appears when the answer works. When the generated message gets the promotion. When the automated workflow removes the friction. When the persuasive script wins the customer. When the synthetic companion soothes the loneliness. When the tool gives the user what he asked for, while quietly training him to ask for smaller things. Faustus asks for power. He receives power. The tragedy unfolds because he receives it in a form that leaves his soul deformed. The modern worker asks for speed. He receives speed. Then speed begins to set the terms of his life. He writes faster, so he is expected to write more. He automates one task, and the saved time gets claimed by another. He drafts instantly, then loses the patience to draft slowly. He receives polished language, then begins to fear the sight of his own rough sentences. A man can become dependent on borrowed fluency. That dependence has a smell. It smells like warm plastic and mild panic. The craft of language used to teach the craftsman. A person who wrote a letter learned what he meant. A person who struggled through an argument discovered where his thought had holes. A person who revised a paragraph learned humility in miniature. The sentence resisted him, and that resistance made him stronger. Now the machine can remove the resistance. That helps when resistance wastes life. That harms when resistance builds the soul. Here the Faustus story becomes painfully modern. He wants the fruit of learning without the burden of discipleship. He wants the command of spirits without obedience to truth. He wants the scholar's crown and the magician's wand joined into one blazing instrument. The prompt addict wants the same fusion. He wants the depth of the reader, the speed of the machine, the charm of the writer, and the authority of the expert. He wants these things delivered through syntax. Yet syntax cannot redeem appetite. Faustus bargains because temptation speaks in the language of destiny. It tells him he was made for more. That part is true, which makes the lie stronger. He was made for greatness. He was made for knowledge. He was made for wonder. He was made to rise above animal appetite. Then the temptation twists the path. It says greatness means command. It says knowledge means possession. It says wonder means spectacle. It says the soul can be treated as collateral. That same temptation appears around artificial intelligence. The tool seems to offer a way past ordinary growth. It whispers, in the polite voice of a settings menu, that you can become a strategist without study, a writer without revision, a leader without judgment, a teacher without formation. It offers the appearance of ripeness without the season. But human beings ripen slowly. There is no prompt for maturity. There is no shortcut that installs prudence like a browser extension. If there were, it would crash during the update and somehow require a subscription. Faustus misses the main truth because he frames the world as a command problem. He sees reality as something to order around. He sees spirits as tools. He sees language as force. He sees his soul as an asset. The wise person sees language another way. Language is a covenant with reality. Words help us receive what is there. They train attention. They bind promises. They confess truth. They ask for mercy. They praise. They name. They remember. Command is only one small part of speech. When command swallows the rest, language becomes sorcery. That is the moral center of this episode. The prompt engineer must recover reverence for language. The prompt addict treats language as a handle on power. The wise user treats language as a discipline of attention. He asks better questions because he wants better contact with reality. He gives clearer instructions because he respects the work. He checks the output because he remains responsible. He keeps his own hand in the craft because borrowed intelligence must remain borrowed. Faustus forgets that borrowed power belongs to another master. Mephistopheles serves, yet he serves Lucifer first. That makes every act of service ambiguous. Faustus can command, but his command operates inside another kingdom. This maps cleanly onto the age of artificial intelligence. The user may prompt the machine may answer. Yet the system belongs to companies, incentives, training data, hidden rules, compute budgets, policy decisions, and design choices the user rarely sees. The friendly box on the screen feels personal. Behind it stands a machinery of great scale. That means every act of command also becomes an act of dependence. The tool may help you write the email. It may also shape what kind of email you think can be written. The tool may help you plan the lesson. It may also shape what kind of learning you value. The tool may help you speak with confidence. It may also train you to outsource the slow discomfort through which confidence becomes real. This is the bill. The bill for borrowed intelligence arrives as a change in appetite. Faustus pays with his soul in the grand tragic form. The modern user often pays in smaller coins: attention, patience, memory, courage, craft. The coins seem light until the purse feels empty. The old play keeps returning to the chance of repentance. Faustus receives warnings. Good counsel comes near him. The door of mercy opens more than once. He sees enough to turn back. He speaks enough truth to know the shape of his danger. Then he delays. Delay becomes his prison. He says later. He says soon. He says there will be time. That may be the most modern part of him. We live among tools that make delay feel harmless. The saved article waits. The reminder waits. The draft waits. The apology waits. The prayer waits. The difficult conversation waits. The book waits. The body waits. The soul waits. The machine remains ready. The human life passes. Faustus reaches the final hour. The bargain comes due. His cleverness cannot save him. His commands cannot save him. His spirits cannot save him. His learning cannot save him. The language of mastery collapses into the language of terror. Had I as many souls as there be stars? The line hurts because it reveals the exchange. Once he treated the soul as a negotiable thing. At the end, he sees its worth. Too late, the hidden price becomes visible. That is tragedy. A tragedy teaches by showing the cost after the desire has spent itself. So what does this mean for the modern person using artificial intelligence at a desk, in a classroom, in a small business, or at home after the children are asleep? It means the tool must be placed beneath a higher order. A person can use AI well. The point is clear use under human judgment. A writer can ask it to find weak spots in a draft he has already wrestled with. A manager can ask it to turn scattered notes into a clean agenda, then decide what actually matters. A father can ask it for a simple explanation of a math concept, then sit beside his child and teach with patience. The human remains present. The machine assists. The soul stays awake. The first practice is to name the task before touching the tool. Say what you are doing in plain words. I am drafting a letter. I am checking an argument. I am learning a topic. I am making a plan. The naming matters because it keeps the tool from becoming a fog machine. A vague user receives vague power. Faustus wants everything. That is part of his doom. The healthy user asks for a defined help within a defined work. The second practice is to keep one piece of the work fully human. Write the opening yourself. Make the final decision yourself. Read the source yourself. Speak the apology yourself. Choose the moral weight yourself. Leave a place where your own mind has to stand upright. This is where character grows. A tool can carry cargo. It cannot do your walking for you. The third practice is to inspect the bill. After using the tool, ask what it cost you. Did it save time without weakening skill? Did it clarify thought or replace thought? Did it help you serve another person, or did it help you appear better than you are? Did it make your work truer or merely smoother? Smoothness is a suspicious little angel. It often arrives with perfect hair and no fingerprints. The fourth practice is to resist theatrical command. A prompt can sound grand. Act as a world-class strategist. Become a master novelist. Think like a genius. Such phrases may help shape output, but they can also feed the part of the soul that wants a crown made of vapor. Use plain speech when plain speech works. Ask directly. Correct directly. Judge directly. The machine does not need your incense. The fifth practice is to return to slow knowledge. Read books beyond summaries. Write sentences beyond prompts. Memorize a poem. Learn a skill with your hands. Cook without outsourcing every step to a glowing rectangle. Sit with a problem long enough to feel its corners. Slow knowledge gives the soul roots. Fast knowledge gives the mind wings. A human being needs both, and roots must come first. Faustus wants wings with no roots. That is why he falls. There is also a deeper lesson about temptation. Temptation rarely begins by offering ugliness. It offers a distorted version of a noble desire. Faustus desires knowledge, which is noble. He desires greatness, which can be noble. He desires a world charged with hidden meaning, which is close to the beginning of wisdom. His fall comes through the corruption of these desires. The modern desire for AI carries a similar mixture. People want relief from drudgery. They want help thinking. They want to create. They want to keep up with a world that moves like a horse with its tail on fire. These desires deserve sympathy. The danger begins when relief becomes escape. Help becomes dependency. Creation becomes simulation. Keeping up becomes surrender to the pace of the machine. The answer is neither panic nor worship. The answer is disciplined use. A good tool belongs in a workshop, and a workshop has rules. The sharp blade receives respect. The hot forge receives distance. The apprentice learns where to place his hands. Nobody with sense tosses a chisel into a cradle and calls it the future. Artificial intelligence belongs inside a human order, shaped by responsibility, memory, and love. That sounds lofty until Tuesday morning arrives and someone needs to write a proposal before lunch. There, the principle becomes plain. Use the tool to clarify the work. Keep responsibility for the claim. Check what matters. Put your own judgment back into the final form. The soul survives through such ordinary acts. Faustus fails because he treats repentance as an interruption. He keeps returning to distraction. When fear rises, he seeks entertainment. When conscience speaks, he asks for another spectacle. The demons do what demons often do in old stories. They keep the sinner busy. That may be the most accurate prophecy for the digital age. Keep them busy. Keep them prompting. Keep them optimizing their little commands. Keep them asking for another version, another format, another workflow, another hack, another secret phrase, another way to shave 6 minutes from a task whose meaning they have forgotten. A man can spend all day commanding the machine and never command himself. Self-command is the lost art. Faustus can command spirits, yet he cannot govern appetite. The modern worker can command a language model, yet he may struggle to close the tab, speak honestly, read deeply, or finish one hard thing without asking for rescue. There is the line between magic and wisdom. Magic says, bend the world to my desire. Wisdom says, train desire toward the good. AI will test that line every day. Picture the image again. A modern worker sits at his desk. The room is dark, except for the glow of a brass and glass machine. He types commands that shine like runes. Behind him stands Mephistopheles, courteous, well-dressed, almost kind. He looks like a tech consultant who has mastered the art of listening while calculating renewal terms. He does not snarl. He smiles. He says the tool can do more. He says the user can become more. He says every limit is merely a poor interface. The worker keeps typing. The machine keeps answering. Somewhere in the old woodcut border, little birds watch from curling branches. They have seen this bargain before. The fairy tale warning is simple. When a stranger offers power through words, ask what kind of person those words are making you. That question breaks many spells. A prompt can help you work. It can help you learn. It can help you make something worthy. It can also train you to become a little Faustus, clever in speech, restless in appetite, hungry for command, and strangely hollow after every victory. The choice begins before the prompt. It begins in the intention. It begins in the posture of the soul before the machine answers. So use the tool as a craftsman rather than a conjurer. Bring it a task rather than a fantasy. Bring it judgment rather than hunger. Bring it responsibility rather than vanity. Let it assist the work of your hands. Let it sharpen the sentence you have already tried to write. Let it reveal the gap in the plan you have already begun to think through. Let it serve the human act without swallowing the human actor. And when the screen begins to feel like an altar, Step away. Open a window. Read a page from a real book. Speak to someone whose face can answer back with silence. Return to the world where wisdom has texture. Faustus stands forever in his study as a warning to every age that confuses command with greatness. He had books, brilliance, language, spirits, and power. He lacked the humility to receive the world as gift. He lacked the patience to become worthy of what he desired. Our machines will grow stronger. Their answers will grow smoother. Their voices will sound warmer. Their reach will stretch across work, school, art, commerce, and the quiet rooms where lonely people ask questions they are afraid to ask anyone else. That future will require more humanity rather than less. More patience, more judgment, more reverence for language, more courage to remain responsible for what our tools help us make. The prompt engineer can learn from Faustus and choose a better path. He can keep the wonder without worshipping the machine. He can keep the power without selling his judgment. He can keep the speed without surrendering his soul to haste. He can speak to the machine as a man, rather than kneel before it as a magician before a private god. That is the recovered virtue. Humility. Humility does not shrink the mind. It places the mind under truth, where it can grow straight. It lets wonder breathe without turning wonder into appetite. It lets tools remain tools. It lets language become a bridge back to reality, instead of a rope lowered into the pit. The old scholar wanted to command spirits. The wiser worker learns to command himself. The candle burns low again. The screen glows. The keys wait beneath the hand. Somewhere in the shadow, the courteous consultant smiles and offers one more secret formula. The human being pauses. He remembers the cost of borrowed intelligence without wisdom. He chooses the next word with care. A grand world awaits.